How does shamanism approach physical healing? It is that idea that everything has this energetic counterpart. And so if you have, let's say, for example, I'll use myself as an example. If you have adrenal failure, which I had about 6 years ago now, my organs just decided to quit and shut down. We can look at what is the energetic lesson or connection to that physical illness. And so adrenals are connected to fear and stress and trauma. And lo and behold, I was carrying around years of childhood trauma that I hadn't processed yet. And so my body, the way that we see it is this idea that things happen in the energetic realms before they happen in the physical realms, meaning that if we have a lesson that we need to learn, or an emotion we need to process, or an energy we need to experience, we can experience it in the energetic realms. But if we don't have the awareness, or we need a little bit more of a wake up call in order to experience that energy, and we haven't paid attention to it in the spiritual realm, it will then manifest physically. Meaning that I could probably, right? We could look back at my timeline all we want and say, I could have healed my PTSD earlier, and maybe my adrenals wouldn't have failed. But I needed that experience of being extremely physically ill in order to understand what was happening in my energy and in my emotions. And so that physical illness became a gateway to spiritual awakening. But that was happening in my energy first, right? The root of the reasons that my organs were failing were in my mind and in my energy. All of this unhealed, broken energy, and a lot of soul retrieval and other aspects of shamanism that come in, right? But it's this idea that every physical ailment, and that can be as simple as, if you go on a hike and you step on a rock and suddenly your right toe is bleeding, the shamans and the shamanic perspective would say that there's an energy for that, that there's a reason that it was your right big toe. And so then we can learn to decode and decipher the energy of saying, okay, well, the right side is the future, and it is very masculine, and lower down in our bodies connected to our root chakra, which is our feeling of stability and security. And so where is a male figure causing us to not feel safe stepping into the future, is really the question that comes down to, right? And so we learn to decode the physical symptoms into their energetic language so that we can understand what's happening in the energy. And so from a shamanic perspective, it becomes this dual pathway forward of, you work with a shamanic practitioner who can tune into the energy and actually work with the energy and call in their healing animals and call in the healing spirits and work on an energetic level, and also help you to decode those messages, to understand what the lesson is, what the learning is here, so that you can integrate that understanding into your being. And through that understanding and that unweaving, in a way, of those energies that are causing the physical illness will heal itself. And so, in a way, it almost looks at it as the physical illness is a consequence of something else. It is rooted in something energetic or emotional. And so, we work on the energetic and emotional levels, knowing that if we can create a change and a shift here, then the change in the physical body and the physical world will follow, because it has no choice, because the energy comes first and the physical matter follows. And so this is hopefully resonating with you. I'm getting the hearts in the chat, so hopefully it's resonating. But it is this idea that everything has an energetic root. And when we can go to those roots and we can see what needs nourishment, what needs to be released, what needs to be brought into our awareness, and we go through the work of bringing those forward. And this is, again, like Christine was saying at the very start of this conversation, this is where having a shamanic practitioner that you trust and that you connect with is so important, because it allows you to have someone who can see in that darkness, right? Who can help you to decode the message of what your physical illness is saying, who can help you to understand the ceremonies or the rituals that spirit is bringing forward to help you heal, who can do a shamanic journey, or who can pull up your soul fabric and clear things out, who can perform a soul retrieval if you need it, et cetera, et cetera. we can support you energetically so that while you are doing that personal work of integrating that knowledge into your own mental, emotional, physical experience, we're supporting and holding an energetic space for you, right? And so this is where this kind of two-way path forward comes in, of having someone who can hold space so that you have a sacred and safe and supportive container to do the work in yourself. And so it's that recognizing that, yes, there is this energy, there's this perspective that we can have, and we have to take that action as well. We have to have the idea and the understanding and the learning, but we have to implement it as well. And so that's kind of the short answer um, of how shamanism approaches physical healing. It's this idea that everything has an energy and an emotional counterpart. And when we can do the work on that level, then physical healing has to follow. And we see it again and again in our courses, right? And I think that's the beautiful part about our team as well, is each and every one of us has a story of a fairly profound illness that we had, that we did the emotional and energetic work on, and we now no longer have. And so there's, we could do another podcast on that and just share our own, our own perspectives of how we've seen this happen, so that it's not just a theoretical idea of, oh, this is how it's supposed to happen, but we've actually seen it in our own lives of, no, this is how it does happen when we do the work on the energetic and emotional levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we need to recognize, once again, like, we're all energy. So what we carry with us will manifest into something, or the beliefs that we have, the heavier beliefs that we have, limiting beliefs, like the world is an unsafe place, whatever perception that we have, we're going to create and manifest, because what we believe, what we think, we will create. And so we need to step into that space of accepting radical responsibility. If you are seeing demons in the spirit world, if you are having physical ailments in your body, if you are, whatever your experience may be that you don't enjoy, you don't like, there's always an underlying thing within ourselves that we need to heal. We are the common denominator for our experiences. And so by taking radical responsibility of what we are creating, that's where true healing happens.